Hi Libra, welcome to your weekly love reading. I hope you're doing well. There's a lot showing up in your energy this week. Okay Libra, let's go ahead and see what Spirit wants you to know this week. So, we have the Nine of Cups, and we also have the Four of Wands and the Knight of Swords, Judgment, Five of Wands, Five of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles, Four of Cups, and King of Wands. Okay, so something's going on here, Libra. Something's going on with your love life. This could be something that has already happened, just continuing, or it could be a new development. As a heart of your reading, you have the Five of Wands. This card does represent sometimes conflict with other people. Since this is a love reading, it could be that you and your partner have not been getting along. There has been fighting, there has been bickering. Maybe you just don't understand each other. Maybe you're just completely different. I mean, the Five of Wands does represent like egos clashing because you want different things. There could also be an inner struggle going on inside either you or your partner. But let's take it one row at a time, starting here. Nine of Cups, Four of Wands, Knight of Swords. So I feel, you know, even though there is some type of struggle going on here, and I do see it here, here, and here, it just seems like, you know, you pretty much, you have, whether you're single or you're married, I feel like, you know, you are generally a happy person. You have the Nine of Cups, and this represents like, you know, like this is the wish card. This is, you know, your wishes being granted. I feel like you have something very special already. You are very happy. This card also represents being very emotionally fulfilled. I feel like, you know, you're happy, and, you know, you have also the Four of Wands, which represents, you know, marriage and stability. So I feel like, you know, you have a good thing going, and I feel like you're happy. And I don't know, I'm getting a different vibe. I mean, these cards are also positive. The Knight of Swords, this represents, I mean, this could be you. I don't usually read the Knights, you know, it is a court card, but I mostly kind of focus on the Queens and the Kings. This could be you, you know, as an air sign, but the Knight of Swords is kind of like, you know, impulsive energy, very kind of restless energy. And it could be that, you know, you want to make things better in your relationship or in your marriage because you have the Four of Wands there. And I feel like you might be making some impulsive decisions. You do have the Judgment card, so this card represents a new beginning. So it could be that you want things to be different in your relationship or in your marriage. I feel like you might be making some impulsive decisions, because even though we see a lot of happiness here, and it's like you have your happily ever after with the Nine of Cups, you got exactly what you wanted, the Four of Wands, you have your home, financial stability, a firm foundation, great. But I feel like there's some type of, you know, decision or some impulsive action that happens that kind of changes everything. With the Judgment card, this is a new beginning. This is maybe, you know, giving someone a second chance. So for those of you that maybe you've been broken up with someone, it could be that you know, you decide to just be impulsive and just allow this person back into your life. It could be someone that you were dating, maybe even a partner, you know, a marriage partner where you had been separated. You know, there's something going on here. I mean, you have the Five of Wands and the Five of Pentacles. And the fives are usually all very challenging cards. Like I said, the Five of Wands, it represents there's some type of struggle going on. And I mean, looking at the reading like this, I feel like one person the Four of Wands, I feel like, this is particularly for people who are either in a relationship, and live together, or who are married. And one person is fighting really hard to like keep things together, to have, a stable foundation relationship. Meanwhile, down here you have the Four of Cups, which represents someone who's just bored, someone who's just not happy anymore and not really connecting, with the other person, is just kind of closing themselves off. And you did have, like I said, the Queen of Swords energy. You do have the Queen of Cups. But I feel like I said, that could have meant that you have to be honest. Is it you who's kind of feeling unhappy, even though your partner is struggling to like keep the relationship and the marriage together? I feel like, there's a struggle here. There's a struggle going on between you and your partner. And then you have the Five of Pentacles, which means that somebody is feeling kind of just left out. Someone feels like they don't belong. Again, that energy is here 2 times. And I feel like whoever it is that is feeling like not quite feeling it in this relationship is starting to really pay attention to the signs and what they're feeling. Because you have the Seven of Pentacles, and this card does represent like studying something very carefully, analyzing it, taking inventory. I feel like you're really beginning to look at what your relationship really is. Why are you unhappy? Because you have the Four of Cups saying that, you feel unfulfilled. It could have been also because you had the Nine of Cups, that you started off as like, wow, this is like my dream relationship, but now somebody is like not feeling it. I mean, I see, like I said, a struggle here. Five of Wands, Five of Pentacles, Four of Cups. Like something is not quite right. Like there's misunderstandings, egos clashing, you're very different. Somebody is kind of feeling like they don't belong. They feel like an outsider, or they're feeling like the other person is shutting them out. And it could be because all of this is happening, this is making you question everything. You with the Seven of Pentacles, you're beginning to wonder, can I do better? And it could be that, it's aligned with judgment here. You feel like, you deserve something new, a new beginning. Like I said, the Four of Cups, moving on to this row here, the Four of Cups is just telling you that, emotionally, you're bored with what's going on in your life or in your relationship. And you have the King of Wands telling you that you have to do something about it. It's interesting in this particular card because the King of Wands is not sitting in his chair, it's empty. And I feel like this means that you have to be in control. You have to be sitting down here and taking your place in this relationship, because I feel like there's something going on. I don't know, I even feel like for some of you, like you might be making some plans, either you or your partner. I mean, the Knight of Swords, impulsive decision and impulsive action, and like somebody has to take the lead here. I feel like, I don't know, from this whole reading, I feel like you and your partner might be on like a completely different page. And then you have the Queen of Cups. So it could be, I mean, you're an air sign, so it could be that your partner is, a water sign, or just someone who's very loving, very intuitive, very affectionate, a very nurturing figure. And it could be that, you don't want to hurt this person. So I feel like there's some type of conflict with your partner going on this week, and I feel like you're questioning it. If you're not in a relationship, I feel like you have something to offer with the Nine of Cups and the Four of Wands being up there. Again, I feel like you're generally like a happy person, and I feel like you could be, again, doing something unexpected with the Knight of Swords. Maybe you decide to jump into a relationship or a marriage. I mean, it is next to the Four of Wands, which does represent marriage. It could be that you meet someone who is your dream partner, your dream come true, and you throw caution to the wind and you marry that person. And of course, here is that, new beginning. Maybe you weren't expecting to, marry so quickly, or be engaged, or be in a relationship, or move in together. But I feel like I still get the same message, because we still have the same, energy. I feel like think things through very carefully. If you're single and that scenario comes up for you where you meet someone and they are like your dream partner, dream come true, and you just want to be like, yes, I accept, I will marry you, or I will move in with you. It could be that you're very different. And it just, I mean, it won't apply to everyone. It could be that the only thing that applies to you in this reading is that you meet someone and they are your dream come true, and you act impulsively and you marry. But for others, it could be that as you get to know the person, you know, Seven of Pentacles, you get to know them, you start to see things that you didn't see in the beginning. And this leaves you kind of feeling unfulfilled emotionally, and you have to step up to the plate with the King of Wands here. This means that you have to take the lead and steer this relationship, you know, where you want it to go. I don't know, I mean, this card stands out because, I mean, looking at the reading like this, like I said, this is some type of like impulsive decision, action. It doesn't, I feel like being impulsive this week, whether you're married, in a relationship, or single, I feel like it doesn't lead to the outcome that you want with the Five of Pentacles there. It's like you end up feeling like, I shouldn't have made that decision, or that person was not for me, we're so different. And you know, we had that message 2 times here. So I feel like you really have to stay on your toes with the King of Wands here. You have to be really feeling in control of your love life and making the right decisions. Okay, so let's see what confirmation comes up. You have the King of Swords, you have Strength, and the final card will be the Hangman. And you have the Three of Swords, so ouch. Ouch, yeah, I mean, this was already telling us that something strange is going on in your love life, like something is shifting. And I mean, this could be you. I mean, you are an air sign, the King of Swords. You could be that king, whether you're male or female. But you know, the King of Swords, it also represents like, be honest with yourself. Remember the Queen of Swords energy, be honest with yourself and with other people. I also feel like you can't get caught up in your emotions and making decisions. I mean, you do have the Queen of Cups over here, and she's a complete opposite of this king. She's all emotion, she's very intuitive, but she's all emotion. They're telling you here to be objective at your situation, especially if you're not happy. And I mean, I feel like it won't be easy. You have Strength, which does mean you have to be brave. You have to conquer your fears. You have to conquer your ego or someone else's ego. I mean, seeing Strength in the Five of Wands, I feel like, you know, you might be dealing with a partner that it's hard to deal with because maybe they're very pessimistic or negative, or you don't want to get sucked into some type of drama. I feel like you have to be strong with the Strength card. This is about spiritual strength. I feel like, you know, you might have to make a decision where you have to conquer your fears, like there's something that you don't want to do, but you have to do it. And you have the Hangman. I feel like if you don't make the decisions that you have to make, you end up here. And the Hangman does represent being stuck, being in limbo, not quite being, you know, moving on to the new, but just kind of being stuck in this weird place until you change the way that you're thinking. This card is about perspective. So I feel like this whole reading is just kind of screaming at some type of decision. For those of you, maybe it will not resonate with everyone, but I feel like those of you who are struggling in a relationship or marriage where there's too much conflict, too much fighting, someone doesn't feel connected anymore, someone is unhappy. I mean, clearly here, the Three of Swords again, this is sadness and heartache, and sometimes it does represent divorce and separation. And I feel like someone doesn't want to hurt someone. I mean, I get that from the Strength card. Someone does not want to do something, but still you're looking at your situation and seeing that maybe I deserve better. I mean, the Four of Cups again, someone is not happy, but then again, it's time to do something about it with the King of Wands here. The King of Wands will not put up with a relationship or marriage that is unfulfilling. And it is right next to the Four of Cups. So I feel like, this is, I feel like this is you. Even though it's a fire sign, I feel like you're examining a relationship or you're examining your love life, what changes you have to make, what's the next move for you. I feel like whatever it is, it's not easy. Whether you're single or married, I feel like they're testing you this week. And I feel like those of you that make the decisions that you have to make, it's like you're set free. You're no longer stuck in a negative place or in a negative relationship. You can actually have this, dream life or dream relationship, whatever it is. Okay, Libra, I will end the reading here. Hope you enjoyed it. Much love and bless.